And now, the most offensive radio talk show host on the planet, Pete Santilli.
All right, we're back. For those of you on the live stream, we thank you for your patience here. Here in the second hour, we always have our guest visit us, and I call him a distinguished guest. We've been just fighting tooth and nail to try to get my next guest on. I'm going to tell you why here in a moment, but let me introduce you to him. Peter Boykin is a political commentator, a podcaster, an author, former political candidate who lives in Greensboro, North Carolina. Mr. Boykin is a public supporter of President Donald J. Trump. And in 2016, he founded the Gays for Trump organization, which gained national attention after organizing support from gay Americans for the candidacy of now President Donald J. Trump. Peter Boykin and his organization are proving once again to be an important voice in the Trump 2020 run for the presidency as he continues to challenge the notion that gay men and women cannot support and vote for a conservative candidate. His website will give you all of his links and everything, but let me, before I bring him on here, let me just share something with you, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why, and I want everybody to recognize this, our job is not to sit in an echo chamber bubble, okay, and say, yeah, we love President Trump. That accomplishes almost nothing. But guess what? We got something to, quote unquote, to sell to even our family members who are Democrats. And just this one concept that I use every single day. We, under the Trump campaign agenda and platform, do Democrat better than the Democrats do. We've got family members that we can easily tell them, look, you want, gay rights, for instance. You want women's rights. You want pro-life. You want all those things. We're doing here under the Trump administration Democrat better than the Democrats are doing. So we wanted to reach out to various segments of the population that have a specific agenda. Maybe they're being discriminated against, and say, you know what, let's join together. You don't even necessarily need to, become a Republican. You can still pursue your Democratic goals. But Peter Boykin, this is an important conversation we're going to have here. You've been at this since the 2016 campaign. I want you to, if you don't mind, welcome to the Pete Santilli Show, by the way. Take us back to when you started campaigning in 2016, and I'll bet you back then, you rearing your head and saying, you know what, I'm just not going to go the Democrat way. I'm going to start supporting President Trump. You were one of those early adopters. I'm sure you received a lot of attacks as a result, didn't you?
Yeah, lots and lots of attacks because when we first started, we had, 5-6 people in the group. And people were like, oh, it's an oxymoron. Why can gay Trump supporter, gay Republican, you're crazy. You're going against yourself. Trump doesn't like gays, et cetera, et cetera. The attacks came up until Orlando. They stopped for a little bit.
Up until Orlando, huh?
Mm-hmm. Orlando happened and our group grew exponentially. Unfortunately, a lot of the gays have short memory spans like the left does, and they reverted right back to the Democratic Party, even noting that Hillary Clinton wouldn't touch a rainbow flag. She had the father of the shooter at Orlando behind her at a rally within a week. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what the left is thinking. I don't know what kind of medicine they're giving these gay leftists to stay on that, train, or not jump on the Trump train, but to stay on the leftist train, to keep going left. But I'm here to tell you the gays are going right now. Mm-hmm. So, I've been saying hashtag gays go right. We go right. Because why the hell do we keep going left?
Why don't you speak to this? Why is it that, and the blacks for Trump, and we have, of course, put them on blast to have them freely express themselves. We had one guy yesterday that we played a video. He said that President Trump is the blackest president we've ever had, and that is the absolute truth. He's got the lowest unemployment among the blacks, but they call, this thing called the Democratic, magnetism, this plantation. They're trying to break away from this thing because really Democratic Party has not offered, let's say, the blacks in the inner city nothing but they just pander for votes to them. They've never improved the inner city or the jobs in the inner city for the blacks, and it isn't until now that the people of the black community have not been employed at the rate that they are. What is this magnetism that causes people to, I mean, it's really a misnomer to think that the Democrats have the exclusive rights to taking care of the blacks, the gays, the immigrants, so on and so forth. What is it?
I just think people are sick. They're sick and tired of what the left's selling, that they just basically use negative identity politics. And I don't want to say just identity politics, because I believe identity politics is fine, because that's demographics and all sides use it. But they use negative identity politics where they state that you just got to vote for the Democrats because you're black, you're gay, you're a woman, etc., but with no reason, no reasoning, no results. And black people especially are flocking away from the Democratic Party because the Democrats have been offering what? Nothing. What did Donald Trump say? You've tried being a Democrat. Why not try? Why not vote for me? What do you got to lose? If I don't deliver, then you can go back. Well, what do you got to lose? And that's what Donald Trump's doing. And now I want to note that the biggest problem I have is there's a huge embrace of the blacks for Trump and the women's for Trump. But I'm wondering, where are the gay summits on the Republican Party? Where is as much as we have gay conservatives out there, I would say that I miss Donald Trump not having a summit for us. The Democrats had an LGBT forum. Why is it that it's only identity politics? We don't like identity politics when it comes to gays, but yet they have no problem embracing the blacks and the women and stuff. If the Republican Party would understand that if they got the gays, the most active group in the most active group, even probably usurps the blacks, they would have every demographic. They would win. They would never lose.
Well, and this isn't like attacking your comment here, but I just want to use an analogy. For instance, the leadership, like for Brexit, okay, with Candace Owens. She stepped out there. You got the police there, or what's going on? You put your hands in the air?
I'm somewhere outside of D.C., so
okay.
Came here for the March for
March for Life. Okay, fantastic. But I would say, because here's the deal. This is what I want to say to you, is that if there is leadership within the we'll say the hashtag Go Right movement, and you guys want, I would be very supportive of President Trump showing up there and come to the podium and say, absolutely, I will be very, very supportive. But I would say that probably the difference, there are these various factions that have had the leadership to bring the movement up. I would say, and tell me if you disagree with this, is that there's probably greater fear for gays, because it's overwhelming that on the left side, like in Hollywood in particular, their social engineering program, that if gays were to come out per se as a conservative and be supportive of President Trump, that they would be demonized probably more so than just about any other segment. The blacks take quite a bit. But do you agree with that lack of leadership right now? That that's why I wanted to bring you on. Why don't you do it? Why don't you form a huge organization and we'll be supportive of it. You guys can do your thing, and we want President Trump to support you.
That is what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Gays for Trump is a huge organization now. We have almost 3,000 members in the actual private group.
Right.
We have, I don't know, every day. I can't keep track. So right now I'm trying to document as many people as I can and grow the list to get it out there. But we are just as big.
Yes.
Look at Brandon Straka, who does Walk Away. He's gay.
Yes.
Scott Pressler, he's doing a great job. He's gay. We've got the Log Cabin Republicans have been around forever, and the great guy, I think his name's Chris Moran. I've been friends with him for a long time. I was friends with Gregory before then. They've been around. So the organization has been there. Yeah. Now it's the Republicans' turn.
Yes.
Which is hopefully, I might be at CPAC, hopefully. That's a follow up to where he said he'd look into it like in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
He actually said he'd look into it this year, and it's pretty early, so maybe I'll be able to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon spoke, and I remember last year's CPAC one predominantly, I can't remember her name. I think it might have, I don't want to name it because I probably got it wrong, but there was one woman up there who said she was bisexual or lesbian, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I will say this. Alliances, like immediately, like Brandon Strzok, yourself, there needs to be an alliance there. And by the way, let me pre-qualify myself here. I'm straight up 100% meat-eating, heterosexual, booby-loving vagina. You know what I mean? But I have loved ones, friends, that I've literally been in California in the streets defending their constitutional rights to be who they are. I want us as because of what our platform is about, us MAGA patriots are very inclusive, much more so than the Democrats are. We want to support your right to step forward, but I want you to identify why President Trump over the Democrat. President Trump is not discriminatory towards the gays. He's not providing the support that we need, obviously, to step out, but he's not discriminatory towards the gays. There's no reason why gays can't support President Trump's agenda, correct?
Yeah, correct. I mean, the only thing you've got out there is leftist media, leftist gay media, brainwashing, taking and picking something and trying to make it seem, because Democrats and Republicans do this, they don't read a full article. They never read a full article, so they only believe the headlines. And then I get all these responses. Every time there's something out, it's at Gay for Trump or at Peter Boykin. Hey, see, where's the Gays for Trump people? Look what they're trying to do us. It's so scary. Like it was right afterwards when they removed the gay pages off of the White House, which is when they wipe all the pages off the White House. But they blamed, oh God, Trump hates gays, blah, blah, blah. They got Mike Pence. You know, they've debunked the Mike Pence thing. Mike Pence, before the election, saw him at a rally. He saw my hat. It said hashtag gays for Trump, make America great again. He looked at it. He looked at me like, what? This is new. And I was like, yes, we support you. He's like, okay, sign the hat, hand it back. He could have just easily said, screw off, but he didn't.
Right.
So Mike Pence has said he'll defend the gays. Mike Pence on an ABC interview said during the Trump administration, LGBTQ, whatever Americans will not be discriminated under the Trump administration. Donald Trump supported gays in the 1980s. If you watch Jose, they talk about it because they're in the 80s. They talk good about Donald Trump because he spent a lot of money in New York for the gay epidemic. And what has he been, not gay epidemic, the HIV epidemic. What has he been trying to do now? He's trying to eliminate HIV, which is like they've been saying, if Donald Trump cured cancer, they'd still hate him. Well, Donald Trump is curing an HIV, which is a huge cancer for all people, not just gays. And he's helping, and they're still trying to say Donald Trump hates gays. Donald Trump just went to the UN a few months ago and said, we're working with other countries to try to decriminalize homosexuality, where homosexuals are getting killed in other countries, which they turned down the efforts. And the next day, said Donald Trump wants to kill us all and put us in a concentration camps. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Okay, you can speak to this. From my perspective, I'm not paying attention to the issues. If I feel I'm being discriminated against, or the Democrats are just not doing enough to represent our minority rights and interests from a gay man's perspective. How's the Democrats failed you versus why you went to President Trump? Because they lie about President Trump, tell you why you shouldn't be supportive of President Donald J. Trump. But why would you leave the Democratic Party as a gay man?
Well, for one, the Democratic Party doesn't care about giving us any jobs or really any equality. They'll string us along. They string you along. That's what they did with the whole marriage issue. They got in a fight with the religious right because all we wanted was basically a civil union plus one, kind of a eyes in the government marriage. But then they brought that big like they kept saying marriage, and they allowed the religious right on the right to say, think that we were talking about religious marriage. And there was that big fight between the both, which they both made plenty of money off of, pitting us against each other. And that's all they do. They're just going to pull us out to play minstrel, little monkey on the string to get that vote. But at the end of the day, they don't give a crap if we get rights. Now because they don't get that money from the regular gays, they HRC, those organizations who could not stand transsexuals ever beforehand, now all of a sudden they want that transsexual money, and now we're big on transsexual rights. And the transsexuals I met has said they should have been left alone because they had no problem using bathrooms. People left them alone. They could get stuff, and they weren't an issue. And if you notice, is there any actual transsexuals, actually real transsexuals stepping forward, saying anything about their rights?
No.
I'm not counting a couple of fat, ugly people who throw on a wig and tries to get their balls waxed. That's the only one
or
out
dance
there.
in front of kids at the library. Yeah, right. Yeah. But, okay, so this is what I heard you say, and correct me if I'm wrong. So they pander for votes, and their representation of your interests is more about opposing the evangelicals. They're not really focused on your individual. So what do you want from a gay man's perspective? Just relist it again. You just said it, but I want you to be really clear. Like, hey, I don't want any discrimination. I want to be able to marry the person I love and accept that, right? I mean, I absolutely believe in that. Give us those things that you want, that they need to be supportive of, versus using you as a token to oppose their political opposition. What do you want from our government?
They need to understand that we as gays, we can be religious ourselves. We want equal rights like anybody else.
Yes, sir.
We want to be treated equally, to not be discriminated against. We want the right to be able to marry our loved ones. We want the right to be able to adopt children. And I can understand maybe one religious charity might not feel comfortable having us adopt, but honestly, they got to think, why are they not letting gays adopt? Because they're saying that 2 guys can't have a kid or 2 women can't have a kid. Well, I tell them that's a spit in the face to any single parent out there. So they can't raise their kid because they're a single parent and don't have the opposite. I mean, so rather have 2 people who love that child, but then they try to always lump in the whole pedophilia and everything when it has the gays, and that's complete BS.
It is.
Because most pedophiles are heterosexual, or they don't really have a sex, and it has nothing to do with gays. And the gays are not adding in pedophilia. But I see that every year they bring the old pictures out. The right does it too. And I have to fight that extremism because so many people pin the gays, all the gays being left, and we're not. A very, very large portion. And I would actually say probably about 45% now of all gays lean right. A lot of all of them are libertarians, which is like the gateway drug of they can say they're libertarian but not say they're Republican, and they're not ridiculed as much.
Sure.
But that's pretty much they're Republican. We want to be left alone by the government. We want them to stay out of our bedrooms. And just because I say I'm gay does not mean I'm telling you every single thing that, I'm doing in the bedroom. You say you're heterosexual. I'm not caring what you do in the bedroom. That's what people get upset. Gays for Trump. I'm somehow flaunting it. I'm somehow using identity politics. And I'm like, well, you're saying...
Oh, we're breaking up here. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. We'll get the feedback, ladies and gentlemen. He's frozen up. We've got probably some people there that are sucking up bandwidth. But he's frozen right now. Let's reconnect possibly if he doesn't connect here. Probably a lot of people there for the March for Our Lives.
Right. I mean, I have to say, he's so articulate, so interesting. If you follow him on Facebook, really, his organization is so in tune with what's happening in the Trump administration, and so supportive, outrageously supportive. They are active, and just, it's amazing. It really is. And Trump, our president, understands that. He does, but I like hearing him say, they need to be recognized. They want recognition. If the president would recognize
you know what he sounds like? He sounds like he wants to be a leave me the heck alone-ist.
Absolutely.
Yeah, here he is. Okay, fantastic.
Leave me the heck alone-ist. That's Peter Boykin.
Leave me. I use the term, Peter, there you go. I use the term leave me the heck alone-ist. And that's what I promote. That's what I endorse. And that's what I want to be protective of with other people's rights. Just don't mess with me and don't take my stuff. And don't tell me that I need to stay on your plantation. Peter Boykin reconnected here. A lot of people, I'm sure, on the local cell towers with the March for Life protest there in Washington, D.C. That's where you're at right now, and that's fantastic. So Peter, I hear you say, and I'm describing it because they want to put us in a box. Are you libertarian? I believe that being a libertarian is just vote stripping of the Republican Party, but ultimately, those libertarian principles, a lot of which are just leave me the heck alone principles. Don't mess with me and don't take my stuff. I should be able to live my life and love who I want and coexist with everybody else, right, without forcing them upon me. But don't try to take away my God-given rights as well to be who I need to be. You have free will, sir. You can be whoever you want to be, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I am in the middle of everything because not only am I trying to educate the people on the right who don't see that see a gay person can be conservative. I mean, we go back to the ones that ask what Rob Smith, how anal sex supposedly can be a conservative value, which I would have answered the question going, well, you know what? Sexuality has nothing to do with conservatism or liberalism. That's how you do in bed. And honestly, it's none of your business. Just because I'm saying I'm gay, just so you can say you're straight, I can be a conservative because there's so many different things. When you try to figure out what you are, you look at a line graph pretty much of what you're on the right, what you're on the left. I'm liberal on some things. I'm libertarian on some things. I'm conservative on other things.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, I'm a Republican. I'm a conservative. I work hard to get as many gays to convert and go right and other people to go right as well and stay right. And then I have to educate them that you're going to see some idiots even on the right. And then also there's people on the left disguised as idiots on the right. There's a certain guy who podcasts, who talks crap about me, but he's completely leftist. But he's posing as a right. He's posing as a Trump supporter. That's what they're doing now. If you notice, Antifa has now basically disguised themselves as stupid Trump supporters to try to make us look stupid. And I have to educate people. Once you go right, don't go back. Just because you see a few things. So I'm having like family members call me, not family, but other people's family of their kids calling me, going, "What can I do? How can I help my kid?" That was the biggest thing that I saw. A lot of the leftist gays told their gay, people in the group, "Your parents don't love you. They're religious. They're going to hate you and reject you. You need to reject your parents and reject their religion." Meanwhile, the parents are contacting me going, my kid don't want to have anything to do with us. I love my kid. I don't care if he's gay, even though I might not think that's right. And, but I love him and I support him. Can you please talk to him? Can you do something? And I don't know what to do because I'm on all sides. And when I say I fight extremism on both ends, that's kind of what the Go Right movement is doing. We're getting people to go right. You go right, you do right, you be right, you lead right, you think right, and then you vote right. And here at the rally, I'm going to be saying #GoRight and choose life, which has been a big thing for me that's kept me on the right, is that I'm very anti-abortion. And I can't stand that Planned Parenthood shows up at our prides. I always walk up and go, "Why are you even here? Why?" And they always, "Oh, we're giving condoms and stuff." I'm like, "No, I don't even know why you're here." So you're saying gays don't have kids, but the little gays that do have kids, you're trying to get them to abort them? I don't understand.
So you're pro-life too. Wow.
I'm pro-life.
You're pro-life.
I'm pro-religion. I believe in Jesus, and I deal with the people who are giving the fire and brimstone all day long, and I tell them the only person judges me is Jesus and God.
Yes.
And when they try to tell me I'm going to hell for my sin, well, they're just as much of a sinner, because if you want to look down to it, anybody who's basically having any kind of fun with sex or doing it for anything other than procreating, I guess, are all going to hell. So everybody's going to hell.
Yeah.
It'd actually probably be fuller than heaven. I guess there'll be like 3 people in heaven, and everybody's going to be in hell. So I don't know. I mean, I believe in a lot of things. So
I believe something, and you can confirm this. I've been a lifelong Republican. I actually made one mistake. I wanted my vote back because I was so pissed off at George Bush, but never again will I vote for Barack Obama just because I'm pissed off at my president. I wanted my vote back after 90 days. That was a stupid move, but I'm a Republican. But you know what? On the left, I see myself as much more inclusive. But the Democrats claim to have the exclusive to being inclusive, and they're not inclusive. They're the most exclusive, demonizing. If you don't go along with their agenda, you're an outcast. Even yourself. I would say generally, let's take Hollywood, for instance. They're very progressive. Southern California, I've lived there for 20-something years. Very, very welcoming. Northern California, obviously, they got San Francisco, and the gay community is very prominent up there. Very, very inclusive of the gay community. But overall, if you step outside of their agenda, you're an outcast. You need to go along with their program. But they're not inclusive. It's a big lie about the Democrats being inclusive. I find that we on the conservative, or hashtag go right, on the right, we're much more inclusive, much more welcoming, correct?
Correct. We're definitely more welcoming.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a few people who are iffy, but at the same time, they're saying, we still would like you be a part of us. The left say, if you don't go exactly the way we want you, if you don't follow the script exactly the way we give you, then you are going to be called. I got in an argument where there was a black preacher on Twitter who was calling Candace Owen a coon, who called me a powder puff and everything else. I got the guy banned, then they brought him back on. Now I'm banned from Twitter for what? Nothing, after I ran for office. But it's just the absurdity that they believe that everybody should be under the Democratic banner, but yet they don't care about the people. All they care about is the numbers, and then because they don't get enough numbers, now they basically import illegals into this country and basically claim gerrymandering and everything, so they can get illegal votes in, and it's been proven. So I love how today they're on Capitol Hill, Nadler's sitting there talking about Donald Trump's trying to cheat and steal an election and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, he even the guy even said that Donald Trump was saying that that Donald Trump was spreading Russiagate, Russia conspiracy theories. They're the ones that invented Russiagate. I mean, come on. So it just.
Yeah, they're next thing they're going to say tomorrow, they're going to open up by saying that President Trump is going to be disarming the population. That's going to be the next thing they're going to say, right?
Anything Donald Trump says, it's the opposite. If Donald Trump said we all have to take 10 breaths every day, because oxygen is great, they'd be, I hate oxygen. Oxygen is creating global warming. We need to breathe less. We need to hold our breath. I wish they would hold their breath. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on, and I'm very actually pissed about my friend Owen Schroyer getting arrested today in D.C.
Yes, sir.
For doing the same damn thing that they did yesterday in protest, because he's sitting there being nice and mouth covered and they couldn't even leave this poor guy alone. That just makes no damn sense.
Held up a sign. He held up a sign. The police said, "Give me that sign." I mean, we covered this in the entire first hour. But by the way, speaking of gun grabs, let me ask you your opinion on, would you go to a protest like in Virginia? where they want to disarm the population. And let's not use Virginia. That's a little bit more controversial. How about this? Do you agree with the left's proposals? Because, dude, I don't care what your political persuasion is. I don't want school shootings. I don't want to be shot at Walmart. But their solution is to disarm all the law-abiding citizens in order to stop school shootings and Walmart shootings. That's illogical, stupid, to disarm the population. What are your beliefs as far as guns are concerned? Just out of curiosity.
Look at the Wild West. Look at the Wild West. Everybody had guns. They kept themselves in check because you didn't mess with people. Everybody had a gun. When they wrote the Constitution, the reason why they said we have a right to bear arms is because everybody knew how to use a weapon. They used it to cook with, basically to catch their food, to protect themselves from invaders, and they had the mindset that everybody would know how to responsibly use a weapon. So I think there needs to be more education on gun safety.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
You should know how to fire a damn gun. Perhaps got a gun and he didn't even know how to use it, and I'm like, okay, you should at least have to go train.
Yes.
But they should not impede our gun rights, period. The Second Amendment pretty much damn well says you cannot impede our Second Amendment, period. And we're going to definitely need those guns in the future when aliens invade, right?
yeah, exactly. That's right. But who would disagree with what we just said? And it doesn't matter because they want to put us in a box and say, oh, you're talking right or oh, you're talking left. We're talking common sense here. Common sense. We have a right to defend ourselves from predators. You just said, let's use the Wild Wild West as the example. You got a bunch of peace-loving people that are standing there with guns at the OK Corral. Versus, the government having guns pointing them. Why the left wants to disarm the other side, or actually, better yet, why the people on the left are being used as tools to disarm their political adversaries is beyond me. They need to wake up to this thing. All right, Peter, listen, I want to do, and I mean this genuinely, I've done this all throughout my life. I spent a lot of time in Southern California. I have friends, family members who are gay. I fought for their rights. I'm a big constitutionalist. I'm a big leave me the heck alonist. I want to do everything I can to help support the Go Right movement. Whatever we can do, we really, really need to awaken. I'd say it's more about not using you and pandering for votes by exploiting you and say, see, we should have all the gays come vote for President Trump. You know what they should do? They should look at the common sense aspects of why they can be supportive of President Trump and look at how they've been abused and used and lied to and pandered for votes and not really taken care of on the left side. You can still be a Democrat if you cross over. I say Democrats still have the same Democrat/liberal social values over at the Trump campaign or the Trump platform or administrative agenda, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. Very, very inclusive. We need to welcome them with open arms, not just, and by the way, tell them whether they be the blacks or the Hispanics or whoever, you can still be Hispanic. You don't need to change yourself into a white nationalist evangelical to support, President Trump. You could still be yourself. Much more inclusive on this side of things. Peter, you're going to this march tomorrow, correct? March for Life tomorrow?
Yeah, March for Life is tomorrow, and I'll be here, and hopefully I'll get to see a lot of people that I know, and get to spread my card and let people know about the Go Right movement, and kind of get prepared for CPAC in the future. So,
okay, so you're going to CPAC. Okay, we want to be supportive of whatever it is that you're doing right now. Who would you say in the Go Right movement yourself? You're one of the most prominent voices. You, Brandon Strzok, right? I mean, we can't take away from what Brandon is doing with the walkaway movement. It's you. It's Brandon Strzok. Who else is there? I mean, the reason why I'm asking, we need to promote this alliance that's happening right now, and really.
Yeah, we got Scott Pressler. He's going across the United States.
Scott Pressler,
making
right?
Sure people are getting vote and voters and talking all the different Republicans, helping them learn how to vote, telling them what's going on.
Is Scott Pressler, is he gays for Trump as well?
Yeah, definitely.
I never knew that.
Member.
I never knew that. Scott Pressler. That guy's doing more work than... Yeah.
Really, really good at what he does.
Unbelievable.
He's an idol. A lot of people look up to him for what he can do.
Oh yeah, he's a man of action. So Scott Pressler's doing a phenomenal job. Okay, tomorrow are you going to be speaking, or you're just going to be present and networking?
I found out about it a little too late. I did contact them. They got back to me quickly, and they said they apologized that their the speakers are full. But I told her about me, and she told me, she said, as soon as this rally is over, contact them back so they can get me on for next year, which will be great. So you know, just me being there, that's good enough for me. I was hoping to be able to go to an event. I would have went to that Richmond rally, but I had to work. I'm glad it came out pretty well.
Thank God.
Without any problems at all. Antifa didn't even show up, I don't think. So, because Antifa likes guns too.
Yeah, they do. Secretly buying AK-47s, right? You saw the Project Veritas thing. The Bernie Sanders guys are in the back room buying up AK-47s, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I am worried about that kind of mess.
Yes, absolutely.
Those people are radical leftists. I hate saying Democrats. I don't even like saying liberal because I am not against liberals if they can get back. And that's what the whole thing about go right is. I'm not saying everybody's got to come to the Republican Party, but I'm telling people who won't refuse to leave the Democratic Party, can you go right just a little bit and bring your party back towards the middle so we can work together? Because the left and the right have basic issues like homelessness and et cetera, that we all agree on, but we cannot work to fix those issues. We disagree on how to fix those issues, but we can't work on how to fix those issues unless we actually can sit at a table and work together and compromise and get things done, period. Yeah. And we can't do that as long as the leftists are crying Trump impeachment all day long. Honestly, it's just ridiculous. If anything, they have proven that Biden should have been impeached, Obama should have been impeached, and Biden's done every single thing that they're claiming Donald Trump has done. And Donald Trump is in the clear. He didn't do anything. Read the transcript. I thought that he was trying to ask for a favor. It's not even in the contract. I was like, the transcript. Not in the transcript at all. He basically was doing he basically was just talking to the other guy saying, this is something that's been going on. There's corruption has been going on in your previous campaign. There's corruption been going on. And if you can investigate it, you might want to, because something's going on. There was definitely something going on with your ambassador and our person over here. And here's the note. They keep saying that Donald Trump is going after his political opponent. Well, guess what? Donald Trump at this moment is not running against Joe Biden. Joe Biden is not the nominee. Joe Biden is still running against all the other Democrats. So they're assuming Joe Biden is going to be the nominee. But would they say this if he was investigating like Pete Buttigieg or one of those other losers that's not going to ever get there? So Donald Trump is not running against Joe Biden at this moment. So like you've been saying, does that mean if you run for president, like if I ran for president and I committed a crime, that I can't be investigated now because I committed a crime?
Yeah.
Joe Biden actually said a quid pro quo on television, live, admitted it multiple times. The man should be investigated. Hunter Biden should be brought in.
Absolutely.
They have done nothing but commit crimes. I don't understand how the left is committing the crimes, but then blaming the Republicans.
These people
just like they're doing with my good friend Roger Stone, and I am ticked that Roger Stone is having, and that's coming up February 20th. He's not in jail yet, but we need to free Roger Stone. We need to get him acquitted because Roger Stone didn't do anything.
By the way, there's a breaking news story about that. They're actually centering on the fact that because the warrants for Carter Page were completely and totally invalid, the court's now saying that the indictments and prosecutions thereafter, the fruit of the poison tree, they call it, are maybe null and void here. So there might be a shot at it. We've got a little bit of time to work. Even Paul Manafort. I don't care if you dislike Paul Manafort. He did not deserve to have this phony black ledger used in his conviction. And by the way, they pursued him as a political opponent, and General Flynn, so on and so on. Sir, let me back up a second. You mentioned something critical.
General Flynn was the first prominent person to identify.
Okay, you said something that's really important. And by the way, #GoRight. I just embraced it on the following principle. You said, just go a little bit right. I'm going to use one example. Let's say you're a Democrat, I'm a conservative. We're sitting at the Thanksgiving Day table. We're family members, and we both want affordable health care. I say, I don't think the government, as a conservative, look, we're going to role play here, and you're a Democrat. You want affordable health care. I want affordable health care. You're telling me that the government should provide affordable health care. I say they suck at business. We need to have some sort of a compromise here. We both want affordable health care. Let's go right a little bit, and let's strip back Obamacare. Let's have at least some regulations to stop the out of control costs in the medical industrial complex. But we both we're both now slightly going right to be social conservatives per se, right? Wanting the same exact thing.
The left is going right in actual direction. The right is actually going right as in doing the right thing, and together we meet in the middle. Because what makes America great is we have a multiple party system. Because if we only had one party, we'd end up being Hitler, a socialist government with nobody being able to talk. We'd be a dictatorship like Saddam Hussein or whatever. We have multiple parties because we recognize that we are different. And if you've noticed the multiple elections since Al Gore, we've been almost 50-50. So a candidate like Donald Trump has done very well because Donald Trump is that middle. He's that guy who was a Democrat, considered a Democrat, but he was one of those, you had Hannity and Combs. Combs was probably the last great liberal that we had, a sensible liberal. Even Hannity used to say a broken clock was right twice a day.
Right, right.
And I used to listen to that guy. I liked him. He had a great talk show before he passed away. And
by the way, I've been on the show several times, and he's been on our show as well. I really liked Combs, Alan Combs.
He was a great guy, and I mean, honestly, you see what's wrong. You don't see a lot of leftists or people on the left or whatever on talk shows because they don't really have anything to say. It's a bunch of lies. All these things, they're just spinning Trump all day long. I don't know what they're going to do if they do impeach Trump because they're going to run out of material to talk about, and they're all going to go out.
They'll go broke.
CNN's going to fail and everything because they got nothing else to talk about. They definitely ain't spending any time talking about anything they can actually do. Because they're not doing anything. They get a break from Congress and they go to Hawaii. Nancy Pelosi goes to Hawaii instead of going to her district and cleaning her district. And who went to go clean up the district? Scott Pressler went to go clean up the district.
Oh yeah.
He went to go to Baltimore to clean up the district. We did. The people on the right, we went right, and we didn't care who we were helping, Republican, Democrat vote or whatever. We did the right thing.
Yep.
And if more left people would do the right thing, and that's why I say we're calling it nonpartisan action for great causes, because I don't care if you're right, left, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian. I don't give a crap if you're a socialist that day or a communist. If you want to go and clean up some trash or help some homeless that day, then I need your help. I might not agree with you politically, but we're going to do good work together. We're going to go right at least one day. Broken clock, fixed twice a day, right?
Yeah, yeah. And go right is not just a direction on the political spectrum. It's a matter of going away from the wrong, right? Let's do what's right here.
Go right, do right, be right.
Yeah,
Think
that's
right,
great.
lead right, vote right. You
All
know,
right.
and that's, you got to think about it. When you say vote right, you've got districts somewhere where they absolutely are not, and it works both ways. They got a district where only a Republican will win. You got a district where only a Democrat will win. Don't just vote for the person because they got an R or a D by their name. Actually, especially in the primaries are super important. You need to find the best candidate that's going to serve you properly. When I run for office in probably 2024 for U.S. Congress, more than likely, I will be Republican, but I will be running as a representative of everyone in my district because it's my district first. Like saying America first,
That's great.
it's North Carolina first. America first, my district first. My job as a congressperson is to get as much money in the budget for my district and to do as much as I can for my district and my people and to represent them the best I can. Now, there's going to be specific things that I can't stray against is the fact, like I'm pro-life. I can't help you on that. There's a certain couple little things, but my platform is to help as many people as possible. And I've been able to talk to so many people, right, left, whatever it is, and they all really liked me when I actually had to talk to them. And when I ran for North Carolina House, I got 25% of the vote. That was much higher than people expected, and I really didn't have a lot of time to get out there, but people did listen to me.
That's
I had
great.
A&T University, a predominantly black university of black students who clapped and cheered at the fact I came. They knew I was Republican. They knew I was gay, and they knew my opponent was a black preacher, but who didn't even show up. So I showed up, and I talked to them and said, hey, I'm not a traditional Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm kind of for the people.
Yeah,
And that's
there you
what
go.
a representative supposed to be. And that's what no left are doing. They're not representing their people at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I doubt they even call their district. I doubt they even care. They don't. They've already shown they don't care. They've been spending all this time trying to impeach Trump for the last 2 to 4 years, and they haven't done a damn thing for their districts. And it's time to get them all out. Vote them all out. Get rid of every single one of them for anybody who can't do their job, period.
Absolutely.
If
Now,
there's a good Democrat out there that can do their job better than Republican, fine, they can stay. But if they can't do their job, they need to get the hell out. And that same thing happens with Republicans. If they think they can just sit there and just get their votes by Republicans and not actually help their people, they need to get the hell out and replace too, because that's just what needs to be done. Dead weight needs to go. That's the swamp.
yes, sir. Here. I absolutely agree with everything you said. As a matter of fact, you're opinionated. You're very vocal, and I want you to, because here on this show, we always side with what's right for all Americans. I want you to set our listening audience straight, because even on the right, especially, MAGA Christian evangelicals that are less tolerant about, oh my goodness, gays for Trump, they're sinning, let's cast spells upon them. I want you to set everybody straight as to why we need to be inclusive and to dispel the lies that you've been told, that gays are there's gay Christians, there's gay, we just heard it from you. You're pro-life, you're a Christian. We've been lied to on the right as well. Set everybody straight here. Those are the final remarks here as we close out our segment, and it won't be the last time I have you on, but tell everybody how they've been lied to and what they need to get straight about who you are and what you guys represent.
Look, don't judge a book by their cover. Just because someone says they're gay does not instantly mean they're leftist, does not instantly mean they're for extremism. The same thing goes for blacks, the same thing goes for women, the same thing goes for anybody. We are all basically equal. We want a lot of the good things, and you never know who you're going to have next to you. You can't judge. You got blue-haired people who end up being Republicans, you never know. So straight up, it's time to go right. It's time to work together. And the biggest thing I'll tell you the truth is, and I understand is the biggest thing I want to let people know is it's time to go right and keep America great, but we do that by equal protesting and reaction. I have so many people who say that Republicans don't do that, but we need to protest. We need to get out there. And I know the people say, I can't do it because I got a job, blah, blah, blah. Well, get somebody. Help donate to somebody who can do that. Get that activism out there. Look at what's going on with the March for Life. They've done it for 47 years, trying to get abortion taken care of, and they go out there and they fight for it. That's why the left wins, because we don't fight enough. We need to quit being just reactory, to things going on. We need to go out and fight as much as we can. Show up here at your town halls, get as much people and embrace every single person who walks in that door, and try to get as many Republicans or whoever it is to vote, to register to vote, and inform them to vote what's right for you, and not just because somebody tells you to vote for them.
Yes.
Vote what's right. That's all it is. Just go right. And the website, though, is goright.us. So that's the website now. You got some things. I'm working on a video. I'm hoping that I'll get more footage while I'm here, and it'll get it more viral, and hopefully CPAC will be there. I'm hoping I'll speak. If not, I'll be in Radio Row.
All right, here's the deal. We're connected to Range Broadcasting. We're going to help promote you on Range Broadcasting. Send us your stuff. Tomorrow you're going to be at Pro-Life. Are you going to live stream it all? Or do you know of anybody that's going to be live streaming? Where will we be able to pick up your live stream at the March for Life?
I'm going to be doing it through my Facebook.
We'll pick up on that. I'll be getting back in touch with you, Peter. Outstanding segment. Thank you. This isn't going to be the last time we hear from you. We're going to support your efforts wholeheartedly. We're going to open up the floodgates, especially because these leftists, of course, that claim the exclusive rights to be supportive of the gays there in Northern California, delete people like Peter Boykin, because he should dare speak out against, their leftist agenda. Sir, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Good luck tomorrow. We'll be following. We'll share your stuff tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. All right. We'll be right back right after this, you guys. Don't go away.